Christina, Universe Citizen presents In the Beginning 24, October 29, 2023. Generalized conception in fields of thought. The total number in every human population is constituted of uniquely designed individuals. Every one of us is designed in principle by Universe Eternal Omniscient Mind. Each of us is born to live a whole lifetime on Earth in universe as coexisting inhabitants. We coexist on planet Earth, one of many discovered planets in our solar system. Solar, from Latin, sol, sun. So the word solar is synonymous with sun, the sun that lights each day in the number of hours between sunrise and sunset. Humans truly have no control over the sun and the moon, the two spherical visible objects from Earth in the day and night sky. Yet at the beginning, when the first humans existed, they learned from trial and error how to survive, as some of them observed the stars, the moon, the sun, and light from those coexisting phenomena. Their observations experientially correlated to anticipatory survival, observing patterns of light from stars, the moon, and the sun provided them with a fairly reliable prediction of weather and other environmental conditions concerning seasonal scarcities and abundance. They learn to depend on and respect varying weather, manifest conditions, and regenerating cycles. Respecting natural cycles became an intrinsic expectation that assured life-sustaining local environments. It had to be compatible with procreating and reproducing, all that was essential to the family of humans within the greater number of families as populations grew. The population growth everywhere made greater demands on natural resources. Typically, then, as it is now, a family consists of a mother, a father, a child, and/or children. It is referred to as the nuclear family. From the smallest number way back then to Earth's increasing human population in 2023 is 8.1 billion. This number of humans has survived every imaginable and unimaginable natural disaster, as well as measurably innovated human conditions. The macrocosmic to microcosmic environment of energy and human events is continually in motion in universe, visible and invisible systems as a function of omnidirectional universe are continually environmentally transforming and intertransforming without any inherent need to discredit human intellection. We could easily accredit every human of omnidirectional universe with a brain and a mind that by integral, uniquely individual design logically is of universe's eternal omniscient mind, Yom. To give this indescribably, eternally designing, sublime intelligence its accurate name, we can take the first letter U for universe, E for eternal, O for omniscient, M for mind, spelling Yom. The acronym sounds so unfamiliar to our 21st century humanity, it takes getting used to it. Nevertheless, with the acronym and sound word Yom in mind, we can call what we seem to be designed in principle to acknowledge, differentiating and integrating the physical and metaphysical throughout the human experience. The equation U equal MP, universe equal metaphysical times physical, a generalized principle, seems comfortably compatible with our innate ability to generalize the concept. Generalizing concepts is integral to the human imagination's ability to formulate conceptually. This is understandably newer than all that previously inspired adjusting the a priori thought, which now can be to a total reality of universal principles of Yom. When Yom is validated thus by the human's brain, mind, intellect adapts to the more accurate name for the sound word God in any spoken or written language everywhere on earth. The individual's anticipatory reality in every case is referential. Now though, anticipatory reality derives from different thought and language coordination. In principle, awareness of this omniscient mind does not contradict what we individually intuit. That by design permits human intellect to measure and evaluate all that is integral to our evolving species, humans of universe, eternal, omniscient mind. Our anticipatory design science awareness of geodesics and geometric models of energy synergy can predictably be so new as to be upsetting. It is the human imagination that is upset to be differently informed from what was learned from earliest childhood and carried over the always partially overlapping generations of humans on Earth. Earliest childhood for many humans on Earth, Earthians, is when most of us are taught to fall in love with God. God is shared as an inculcated, indoctrinated, thought-activating, subconscious adaptation to human events. Among human events is EISEDP, experiences, intuition, speculations, experiments, discoveries, productions. Human events tend to discredit metaphysical intellect while accrediting physical behavior. It accredits illogical, irrational, sacrificial human behavior to extremes of cruelty and death to be the closest relation to what God supposedly expects. In that process, aspects of the nuclear family can be made null and void. The contrived disassociation promotes once inexplicable conceptions by distorting the aberrant asymmetries while convincing the gullible, the malleable personalities, their trusting mentalities to qualify as a befitting assumption. It becomes an ordinary assumption between self and others, whose inculcated, indoctrinated commonality is the God they learn to love so much for variously delusional, destructive reason. Convincing self and others pertaining to God by the sound words spoken and written local to the influencing thought language can be so delusional amongst the core believers that one among their local population must be God's messenger, perhaps God's only begotten Son. So, imagination's conception of God, uppercase, God, lowercase, Almighty Lord God, Christ, His only begotten Son, more than 2,000 years ago, learned also to glorify the intense or mild experience by worshiping and sacrificing self and others as paired concept. This generated subsequent realities manifesting the concept's false premises. The need to cherish one's deepest love for the imaginable all-knowing God, nevertheless, was limited by the human-invented words in the articulated language at that place and time. It is always on a continent of Earth's physical terrestrial sphere, a one-ocean world, eventually becoming a wide-spreading religion across the world. Meanwhile, and also referential to earlier times, differently situated populations, dating farther and further back in human histories, included nomadic tribes and their trial and error, experiential, experimental, life-sustaining accreditations to God by their spoken and written language. It was the sound word that the members of the nuclear family agreed to name it. The validity of God seems always to trust one among the group of humans whose wisdom is accredited to lead the people, their tribe, to a promised land. The promised land is anticipated to be where their families can repopulate their kind. Kind, in this context, means the local inhabitants who have similar inherited characteristics, commonly thought of as kith and kin, but to correlate their inherited traits and relevant survival characteristics may be referential to long-held memories passed on over the always partially overlapping generations of humans on Earth that seems always pertaining to survival. Differentiating the belief survival from essential life sustaining grows more complicated over time. In any event, DNA, RNA tests of advanced science can show traces of the familial origin, a commonality, which includes physical characteristics. It does not describe the individual cerebral circuits, the internal systems of its physical anatomy that are unique to each and every human, even though everyone has a brain, a heart, lungs, all the internal essential organs, physical systems, the regenerating energies, patterning integrity is discoverable by the inquisitive metaphysical intellect as a function of omni-rational universe. In total, all that is, including self and other, is designed by Yom, Universe Eternal Omniscient Mind. Awareness of Yom does not first require a belief system's religious laws and adherence to the variously contrived disciplines for controlling human behavior. Human behavior, from the earliest inhabitants on Earth's land masses, comprise various size groups who learn to survive or perish as a productive or destructive unit. Beliefs in what ancient scribes wrote intended, accrediting success to their variously sized community of families. The scribes' words also influenced the power of admonishing, punishing differently directed behaviors to be against the belief system's dread of failure. That process of communications, differently invented rules, were woven into the labyrinth thought, language, action, reaction, resultant scenarios. The idea, apparently, purposely, was not to alter one word from the scribe's written interpretive record in fear of it becoming some disputable law. The idea was to make permanently, immortally what was ordained, said thus to be the truth of God, of Christ, the perfect man, and later the emulators of that claim. However, in order to complete the nuclear family as a procreating natural phenomenon of God and his only begotten perfect man, scribes of yore, similar to modern-day writers, whose objective is to perpetuate the readily adaptable false premises. Often, this is because it is easier to join them if you cannot beat them. Doing so in order to save the energy that logical, albeit heated discussion, scientific research and discovery of generalized principles requires. Debating what has become established over millennia is quickly discouraged by the larger number who do not only believe false premises, they will sacrifice life and limb to preserve the concept even when it is the other's life and limb. This is when war culminates as a coexisting factor of the aeons old, the age old, PRJWBCHM, politics, religion, justice, war, belief complexes, hierarchical matrix. It recurs regardless how many ways intellect articulates its developing insights and outlooks. All of it is referential either to unity or divisiveness of humans everywhere on earth. The limits within the universal communications process. Writing is attributable to letters of the alphabet and mathematical numbers. Alphabetical and mathematical both requires the human's physical brain, cerebral circuitry design, and metaphysical mind's eternal conceptioning. Metaphysical is independent of size, time, space, sizing. Mathematical, logical, at minimum, requires awareness of the numbers 1 and 2. Mathematics include multiplication, division, adding, subtracting. The evolving human's inherent curiosities are integral to accurately informed observations of the life-sustaining physical and metaphysical environment. Eventually, we realize that since our physical being is situated on planet Earth, it must be our individual imaginations, conceptual reasoning that projects the anticipatory design, science objectives that in truth are independent of size. It is size alone that can come to zero, not the conceptuality. Awareness of size, sizeless. Time, timeless. Visible, invisible. Universe can become the most interpretive relevance to what we can imagine as yom, self-regenerating systems, as the energetic, synergetic, most economic waste systems in universe behave as prime subdivisions of it. Synergetics awareness is more relevant to our species survival than whatever previously pertained to how and when humans are naturally inclined to emulate each other's behavior. This includes emulating the belief systems humans invent over the ages. The system, minimum, topological, conceptualities correlating to the constant relative abundance of macrocosmic, microcosmic energy synergy events can be generalized to the points most relevant omni-rational discernment. The point is a tetrahedron of negligible base to altitude dimensioning. Obviously, the points humans are inspired to communicate can be differently initiated by the evolving mind's metaphysical intellect that observes the physical events with an inherent ability to generalize the discerned patterns to 0 dimensions as conceptual subfrequency in generalized conceptioning fields of thought, to be continued in the beginning 25. Reference: physicist R.W. Gray's server provides our internet access to R. Buckminster Fuller's Synergetics, which I now call the Synergetics Book of Knowledge. Synergetics Table of Contents. Synergetics 211, the omnisymmetry of wave linear physical pulsations. Synergetics 311.15, sublime 0 equals 0 equation of absolute perfection. Synergetics 321.03, the proton and neutron always and only coexist. Synergetics 326, universe as metaphysical and physical. Synergetics 240.05, a point is a tetrahedron. Synergetics 441.02, vector equilibrium accommodates all the intertransformings. Synergetics 502.22 EISEDP. Synergetics 527.53, fiveness, 5-dimensionality. Synergetics 610.21 through .23, omni-triangular symmetry, 3 prime structural systems. Synergetics figure 610.20, the 3 basic structural systems. Synergetics figure 935.23, proton and neutron, 3 vector teams. Synergetics color plate number 9, the isotropic vector matrix. Vector flexor fold of form, the jitterbug. Contact Christina, Universe Citizen at gmail.com. Thank you.